Alright, Andis T outliner. How to adjust the blade to like almost a zero gap, I guess, or what we call is a zero gap. We like to leave it just a little bit behind the front blade. Take the blade off first, and then there's this little thing on the back of the blade, and that right there is how you do it.
Have you made video? That's why you turn off it.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't very clear picture there, but there we go. So you line up that back square piece that's behind that blade, and then you set the blade on there, move it back and forth flat, and back it out just a tad. And you tighten those back down. Those are the screws you have to loosen to move the square plate. Now go ahead and move that blade after you tighten those to show them the square plate. I'll go ahead and pick it up real fast, please.
Yeah, trying to take it
right on. There's the square plate, so that determines where that blade is going to rest. So you have to move that around by loosening those two screws, and then you put the blade on there like he's doing, and then you slide it back and forth to see how close.
That looks pretty good.
And that's how you want it, so that it's not too far up to the edge. It's right before the edge, not past it. Let me see. You ready? This is how I do it.
You may have to do it a couple times.
Well, probably not, but you take the blade, whether you set it down or hold it up, and you take your fingernail and you just lightly tap the corner of that,
The back piece.
and it pushes that side forward. If you want to push that side forward, you tap that corner. Now I'm going to tighten it again.
Put your thumb on it though.
Well, I don't have to hold it. They weren't very loose, so I just loosened them enough so I could move it, not so that it was super loose. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to be all. You want it to be wiggly loose, and then check the edge.
Oh yeah, they didn't just run out. No, they're good.
Yeah. With what you had to work with, that's a heck of a job. What you had down over there.
Let's see, and there I tapped it a little bit too far, so I got to go back and now redo
You
it.
haven't made anyone bleed lately, have you?
What I do is I'll push back on it, like you did earlier. Push back on it, push it forward with my
Oh, we
fingernail.
have fun, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Because once you push back on it, the blade is on there. Then when you're pushing it forward,
Jump in the front, Jason.
Again, this one's on the house, huh?
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, New Year's, right?
Yeah.
and then that's it. That's perfect, where it's just a tiny bit behind that front blade. And it's ever so small, but it's just a little bit lower. And the front blade is a tiny hair, and I mean a hair. You could lay a hair between it.
Bring it up to the side. Well, I mean, sideways of it. And then move it back and forth.
And then that's how you want it, just like that. So you.
Sorry, I missed it.
Okay, so you put the blade right.
The price of the
Put the
first
blade
one.
back on. Of course, this is the easy part. And when you do put these screws in, you can tighten them down almost all the way, and then position your blade symmetrically centered square on your clipper so that it doesn't look crooked. Or if you don't try to do that, it might not seem like it's straight, and that'll be why. You can actually adjust the angle the blade sits as well as the sharpness of the blades. So he's just gonna get that last screw in. So is the fun part. We started. Once you get them going, then it's easy.
Fired.
buy a new car?
No, we already had that.
Because I see you got a car in here.
Right?
Gas, motorcycle, gas.
So if you need to change it, loosen it up a little bit.
Now gas from this is down.
And that's what I mean by straightening them out. You
Now
want
it takes me
to
$1 to
straighten them out.
fill up. Go 100 miles on $1.
Oh.
Can't beat that.
And start to tighten them down. And as it gets tighter, then you can wiggle it perfectly straight, and then it'll be easier to tighten it.
Huh?
But do it slowly, tighten them a little, and then a little more like he's doing, a little at a time.
Nice, but when you pay it, it's not nice.
How's that look straight?
I'll have that fun.
And I'll turn them around to the front as well. Yeah, that looks straight. Man, this thing is the worst camera in the world. Just kidding. And you know what you're doing? When you adjust clippers, you're confident. I know those clippers aren't going to cut me. I know they can't cut me because I adjusted them. But you always adjust your clippers and test them on yourself or a fellow barber before you use them on the customer. Never test them on the customer first.
Then you can scar them.
Because you see, if they were nicking me and there was blood coming out right now, I'd be okay with it. But as a customer, I don't think the customer would. And they're not probably going to come back.
So adjust the blade.
I'll have to say, that looks really clean and sharp. Almost looks as if I shaved. And so that's how you know they're really close.
Every time I say, oh, I go it down. Look at that.
Alright, cool. Alright, Andis T outliner. How to adjust the blade to like almost a zero gap. I guess, or what we call is a zero gap. We like to leave it just a little bit behind the front blade. Take the blade off first, and then there's this little thing on the back of the blade. And that right there is how you do it.